Hi folks, our goal for this video is to learn how to take Cornell notes from an instructional video. This is one particular approach, and of course there are variations. That's no problem at all. So you can either use a template, as we'll see in a second, or you can rule up your page to give you the 4 areas that you need. It's that simple. So we see a simple Cornell notes template there. It's got 4 sections on it. Okay, so let me elaborate. We've got the section where we to basically describe what the video is about. So we've got a topic, important just factual stuff like the date, the period, topic or subtopic. So when you use these to look back on, you'll be able to tell what you're looking at and what the order is, or as you scroll through all your notes, you'll be able to see if you're getting closer or not. So it helps you work it as an index. The second one, the second out of the 4 spots, is a narrow column which stretches most of the way down the page, and that's where the key points go. Sometimes they're called key questions if you're investigating something, but for my videos it'll be key points or key concepts. So you just have brief statements here. Then the details, the specifics of those key points are put in this section here, and this is a much wider column. All right, so this is probably about 3 times as wide as that, give or take. Okay, so you've got lots of details in here. Details can be in the world of mathematics, which is what this is pitched at. You've got definitions, you've got rules, you've got formulas, you've got illustrations, you've got graphs, and other important bits of knowledge there. Okay, and certainly worked examples is something you could certainly have there. So that there is the third of 4 sections, and now the last part, let's scroll down. The fourth of 4 is the summary. Okay, so you've got 1 or 2 sentences that basically paraphrases what you've just written about and what you've just become familiar with. And if you can put something in your own words, that's a good sign that you understand it to some degree. So don't forget the summary, it's really important. So let's pretend that we're taking a video from notes from an instructional video, and it's on maths, and we would start out before watching the video. If we know what the topic is, we might not, but here I'm assuming we know what the topic is. This one's an example about divisibility. I put in a date, it's a fake date in case you didn't notice, and I work at a 5-period school, so period 6 is fake. So it's not a real one, but this is what you do. So that is meant to help you later on if you're scrolling through your notes looking for something in particular. Okay, so headings and subheadings, you could go further and make your heading more specific if you like. So I guess this one's an intro. Okay, this might not be part of your coursework, but it's about the process of taking Cornell notes. That's the important part. Now at this point I want to tell you about the 3 important functions on your video player. Alright, play. Not a very good play symbol. Play, pause, and scroll back. Okay, so if you have to scroll it back for some reason, make sure you do that because especially the pause, because you're not meant to watch something that might be very intensive and very dense and not be able to get it all down on paper. So play, pause, and sometimes scrolling it back. For example, you might want to scroll it back 30 seconds if you've like, oh yeah, I kind of get that, but I kind of don't, or you totally lost me there, or a dog barked and I couldn't hear what you said, something like that. And that's an advantage over a regular lesson, isn't it? Like you can't rewind the teacher. Okay, so well, not always. So yeah, this process is flexible in that regard, as long as you're there to use these 3 functions. Alright, so we get the instructional video next. Here we go. Okay, so the video starts. Okay, I've already got my heading and everything, my date, all that sort of stuff there. Okay, so that gets played, and okay, there should be sound coming out normally. All right, so you've got okay, or divisibility. What is the divisibility? And the person has said it's when you start with a whole number. Okay, so a whole number, and
we get a.
You might be hit with the definition first up. So what you do is you go back to your notes. You put the video on pause like I've done there, and you go back to your notes. You go back to your key points once the video's paused, and the first part, let's say it was a definition. Okay, so it'd be like when a whole number or an integer, etc., is divided through, and there is no remainder. The answer or the quotient is another whole number or integer. Depends on whether you're teaching this, of course, with just positive numbers or negative as well. So you would write that in there, and then you would go, okay, I'm going to unpause the video. Okay, and the video gets played again, and more information is coming up, and you go, okay, yep, and then you find that very soon. Yep, you can add to the definition if you need to, or if there's some terminology you need to put on the Cornell notes, you should do that. And here's an example, right? So we just see an example. In that example,
we can say that
there are some key things there. So 20 is divisible by 4, and the notation 4/20 is introduced there. So that's really important. So we pause the video. We go back to the Cornell notes. So example, and you'd write that about 4 into 20, and then notation as well. So the shorthand notation, and you would put the example there. Okay, and if there's diagrams, or there's graphs or equations or other types of examples, you would include them there. So in the summary, you basically need to write 1 or 2 well-crafted sentences that basically explain things in your own words. And if you can do that, that is great. That's a great sign. So you would say that it's basically when we have a smaller number and a larger number, and the larger number can be divided in. A smaller number can be divided into a larger number, and we have no remainder, no decimal result, or in other words, the quotient is another whole number or another integer, depending on whether we're looking at negatives or not. There is a good result, and so you would keep them. All right, those notes are now very useful.